Good morning, everyone. This is Julie McDonald with Microcom Technologies, and I'd like to thank all of you for attending today's webinar with NETGEAR. Today's host is Jordan Cooper. He is our Territory Account Manager for California and Texas, and he's presenting today. If anyone has any questions, please submit them in the question box so that Jordan can answer them at the end of today's presentation. Jordan, thank you so much for being with us today. We've got a little bit of a late start, but don't worry. Please do your entire presentation as originally planned. I appreciate it so much, and I'm sure you do as well. I am finished for now. Jordan, please go ahead and take it on over.
Thanks, Julie. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Apologies for the late start here, and thanks for the introduction. Just to reiterate, I am the account manager for Microcom. Make sure that they've got the support on the back end to make sure you guys are getting taken care of. This presentation is going to be on our Wi-Fi 7 access points. It's going to be pretty brief, very informative. Obviously, there's a lot of technicality stuff when it comes time to Wi-Fi 7, so I may not dive into complete details and kind of get lost in the weeds of all the craziness that Wi-Fi 7 and the capabilities that Wi-Fi 7 has, but we will kind of give a high overview of its capability and things like that. So just bear with me as we kind of go through this. If you have technical questions, I will try to answer the best I can, but know that no engineer, at least not yet. So if you've joined my presentations before, we kind of follow the similar agenda when we go through each one. We'll talk about NETGEAR and the company facts, good to know a little bit about NETGEAR. We'll also talk about what makes NETGEAR different. And we're going to just dive right into Wi-Fi 7 and talk about the support behind it. So that's a pretty simple, pretty quick overview. Let's get right into it, guys. So if you don't know much about NETGEAR, hopefully you do. You probably know us maybe from a home router, but we're more than just that now. We're into the small businesses, medium businesses, and even enterprise businesses use NETGEAR. We do a little over $1 billion in revenue with a little over 1,000 employees, offices in about 25 countries, and we're located in California. We actually also just, as an update too, this is updated. We need to get an updated picture. This is with Patrick Lowe. Patrick Lowe is no longer our CEO. He ended up retiring after founding it and growing it to what it is today. It's been handed off to CJ Stroud as our new CEO, and I look forward to having him and his leadership and direction. When it comes time to NETGEAR, a lot of questions get asked about what makes NETGEAR different. Why is it different from other competitors out there? And we always try to say there are 3 things that NETGEAR wants to make sure that we're achieving with every product that we release. We want to be reliable, we want to be affordable, and we want to be easy to use. And when it comes time to reliability, we want to make sure that we have a great warranty with it. And we have the lifetime limited warranty, which means most of our products have this warranty, all but aside from maybe some unmanaged switches, kind of the smaller stuff. But for our business class products, limited lifetime warranty, which means after the product goes end of life, we will still continue to support it for another 5 years on top of that. So if you get in when the product gets recently released, generally we will try not to end of life stuff for at least 5 years is the goal for NETGEAR to end of life something, unless circumstances change like the chip shortage. But you're looking at a minimum of 5, but maximum of 10. 12 years as far as the warranty goes. And in that time, let's hope you've done a network refresh in that time. Next business day replacements, we also have that as an option as well. We want to be affordable. We don't want to, we all know a lot of companies out there, they want the best bang for their buck, but yet somehow it always seems to be that they want wine on a beer budget, I believe is the saying. And that can cause kind of some problems when it comes time to picking out the right solution. So we want to make sure that we're affordable to not just the small to medium guys, but again, those big guys who want to have the best, but have the budget of the low end. And we want to make sure that we fit that need as well. And we want to be easy to use. Right? We just want our stuff to work, plug and play. Time is money. We know that the less time that you have to try to configure or set up or troubleshoot, ultimately is more money in you guys' pocket. And so that's the goal for NETGEAR to be. We don't have any requirement to go and take some online courses to know how to use our product. Our GUI is very familiar. Guys, it just works. We of course do have trainings if you want to take them just to kind of get to know more about NETGEAR. We have it on our website. You're more than welcome to go to netgear.com, and we do have some trainings there that you can learn all about our products and more in depth about maybe our total network solutions. If you haven't seen that, I did a presentation on that a little bit ago about our Insight program, about our AV program, and what we're doing in the AV space. So some really good stuff there. But let's kind of go next to it. Let's talk about the NETGEAR wireless products that we have. Again, this is where I like to specify that many people know us for routers and home routers. In fact, I bet some of you on this call probably have a home router right now that's NETGEAR. And it's kind of a double-edged sword for us. It's made a great name for us because most of these home routers, there's little to no issues with these routers. They're just solid. They just work like they should. No complaints. But to our fault there too, people think that, oh, how can I trust my business on something that is what's considered to be a home product? And the answer that I love to answer that question is, well, have you had any issues with the home router? And most of, if not almost all the time, they're always like, yeah, I haven't had any issues. It works just well. I'm like, how do you think they're going to run the business side? And it's just exactly that. We just want to make sure things run, and they run like they should, and they run for a very long time. So when it comes to our wireless, businesses are it's growing. We obviously see this demand for growing Wi-Fi devices, right? I mean, AI is starting to really come into play here, and VR, virtual reality, and even AR, augmented reality, is becoming more and more into businesses. I was just talking to one of my partners the other day, and he said they are struggling because their customers have decided they wanted to start testing out and seeing performance on the Apple Vision Pros. And they gave out a dozen of these to their employees because the augmented reality can have multiple screens and multiple places and without having to buy the hardware for it. And so they're testing out this pilot program of, how long can these guys wear it, I guess, without straining the eyes. But they're trying out this program, and they said so far for the last 3 months it's been pretty well. It's gone pretty well, but they've noticed that these augmented reality goggles, I mean, they take a lot of bandwidth. There's a lot of power behind these things, and so it's just things like that as we get more and more into our businesses, the demands increase. Things need to be faster. Things need to be quicker, and more devices are now coming on to the network. I mean, back in, I say back when, but maybe 15 years ago, it was pretty common to just have maybe 5 devices connected to your house. You maybe had a phone, you maybe had a computer or TV, and maybe even not even a TV. But now we look at these things and we look at, gosh, there's, so many devices. I myself, in my home, have at least 50 plus devices when you factor, your Amazon Alexas or Google Homes, maybe you have some Nest security cameras, or maybe you've got a Ring doorbell, and you've got a thermostat. You've got, I even think my wife we just got a crock pot that I think has Wi-Fi on it. Why kind of goes beyond me. Why you would need Wi-Fi on a crock pot, or even, your washing machine and dryer, things like that. It's just Wi-Fi is growing, guys. And the demand is growing, and we need to make sure that we have the backhaul to support it. So let's talk about NETGEAR's Wi-Fi 7. This is what it kind of looks like here. I don't want to kind of, in a quick little easy overview, the new standard is WBE, wireless BE. AX was Wi-Fi 6, AC was, the Wi-Fi 2.4 and 2.5. So the new one is BE. This is the new standard. Let's kind of talk. I want to kind of go into more of the specs here, and we're going to kind of go over this. There's a lot of information here, and the key overview to looking at this is it's screaming fast, right? This is a 4x4 on every channel, and that's going to be something that I think you want to make sure that as Wi-Fi 7 comes out, take a look and see, and making sure what the Wi-Fi 7 is, if it's on every channel, or if it's just on one, or is it a 4x4 or 2x2, 3x3. Take a look and see what they've got. But we've got 4x4 on the 6, the 5, and the 2.4. That means with all of this, guys, I mean, theoretical throughput, 18.4 gigs. Holy cow. Never in my life. But I think this is that speeds on like the 6 gigahertz can reach 11.5 gigs or 11,500 megabytes. It's crazy fast. The 5 is 5.7, the 2.4 is 1.1. So even on the 2.4, guys, we're faster than gig speed. Just crazy. It's awesome. I love it. Obviously, to support these types of speeds, right, you're going to need some serious backhaul. We're beyond gig, guys, all right? We're beyond, at this point with this product, you're beyond multi-gig. We're in 10 gig territory, which is just blazing fast. Supporting up to 600 devices, which is super impressive considering how small this is. That was NETGEAR's, one of NETGEAR's achievements. They wanted to have it to be a small form factor, really be non-noticeable. Sometimes I feel like we go and we look at some of the access points as you scroll through, and they're bigger than a dinner plate. And we wanted to make it as small as possible, make it as inconspicuous as possible. But it's also crazy with something so little. I mean, 40 watts takes about 39 to 40 watts of PoE power. So that means we are in PoE plus territory, or we're a bit beyond that. Now it can operate if you're like, hey, I don't have a PoE plus switch. I just have a standard PoE plus, the 802.3 AT. It will work. Just expect some reduced performance. Reduced, 50% on the 2.4 and the 5, and then it also reduces to 25% on the 6 gigahertz. Rest assured, this still can be powered via AC. There is a PA version, which means a power adapter that this comes with. So, and of course, this also does have the capability to do wireless backhaul and do some sort of meshing with other access points. And of course, there's your 5-year, plus I should say 5-year limited lifetime. Now let's talk about the example case, right? Here's just one example. Obviously, this application can be used in many different applications, but key things to look at here. One, this WBE has a 10 gig backhaul and it's connected up to a PoE plus switch that also has 10 gig ports. It's key there too. Also, so this switch is a fantastic switch. Little 8 port, has 10 gig and even 2.5 and 5 gig ports. So it is a multi-gig switch as well, up to the 10 gig. And as what we can see, it's why you can throw in different access points, and these will all mesh together. And that's so awesome. I think that's so great that NETGEAR did it that way. That we're not saying, oh well, now you have to rip and replace everything if you want to throw something in. If there's a really high area that has a very large amount of devices connected, an auditorium, a stadium, a hospital, somewhere that has maybe just in a specific area has a lot of condensing, you're like, I'd really like to put something in that can handle this traffic, but I don't want to have to rip and replace everything in the entire network. Throw in, you can throw in, assuming that you have NETGEAR in there. But you can throw in the NETGEAR access point, and any other NETGEAR access points that you have there will continue to work and seamlessly, do seamless roaming, doing the wireless mesh, all capable as well, doing the meshing there. That is just one example. Obviously, you can throw in as many 750s as you want, but it just kind of shows that you can mix and match however you want. There are some new features, guys, and this is where it can get quite technical, so I'm going to try to stay in my lane when it comes time to talking about the Wi-Fi 7 features. I want to talk more than my ability, but one of the new features that is here is called multi-link operation. And this multi-link operation, in simple terms, does kind of channel bonding. Back before, you were either on the 5 or the 6 gigahertz network or the 2.4. You were either on one or the other. Couldn't do both. And when you were on one, it made the other channel unusable. But not with Wi-Fi 7. It's kind of one of the key features that it's doing now, is it's bonding the channels together. So you just took one lane of all the lanes on one channel and took another lane on all the other channels and combined them all into one. So this, just means a lot more devices can be connected to Wi-Fi 7, a lot more. That also means that the devices that are connected can go a lot faster because there's more channels. Now, key thing to remember too here with all of this, Wi-Fi 7, these Wi-Fi 7 features, you want to make sure you have, as we're starting to see Wi-Fi 7 chips already being coming out. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that the iPhone 15 Pros have a Wi-Fi 7 chip. I believe. Don't hold me to that, but I believe it's there. But obviously, more and more products are going to be connecting with it, and at minimum, they have the 6E, right? And that still uses the 6 gigahertz band. So, still we'll see some benefits, even if the device doesn't necessarily have Wi-Fi 7. There will still be some benefits because they can still see the 6 gigahertz band. But if they do have the Wi-Fi 7 band, you can get the full experience. Another feature is this preamble puncturing, right? Now, this can get really technical. So for me to understand it was a little bit difficulty trying to wrap my brain around it. But basically, it does exactly this. It reduces the signal interference. Anytime that there's an interference, it can get around the interference instead of blocking and stopping the Wi-Fi signal, it can get around. And I don't know if that's necessarily physical, but by having this feature, this preamble puncturing feature, obviously it reduces network congestion because things aren't being stopped. Whatever's interfering, it can still pass through and get through the interference. So another cool, great feature there. And as a result of this, you have a higher bandwidth. Right? Talking 320 megahertz channel. Again, just know it's fast. I mean, speeds up to 5 gigabytes per second on Wi-Fi 7 endpoint devices. Holy cow. Screaming fast. Let's talk about when we look at the Wi-Fi 6 versus Wi-Fi 7, just a quick little overview. Just saying, kind of doing the comparison. Both are, you're going to have these multiple tri-bands. We see AX6000 up to 6 gig. We see BAM 3 times faster with the Wi-Fi 7, just going up one generation. We're seeing 3 times faster. Crazy. So 600 devices connected to it. 10 gig versus 2.5 gig. And we do see power consumptions 39, and we also see 30.1. You notice this 30.1 is just slightly, you'd probably be best to throw in a PoE++ switch. So both of these would require the PoE++. So if you have a PoE++ powering this, you're in good shape for here. And both of them, of course, are managed via, excuse me, our Insight platform. Hopefully you've heard of Insight. If you haven't heard of Insight, I encourage you to go check out NETGEAR's website. Maybe you've seen a webinar that I've done with Microcom in the past talking about Insight. I've done quite a few of them. We just had the privilege of hearing from one, Fred Raby. He was on with us and not too long ago, and he did a complete Insight demonstration. Check it out if you haven't. Okay. So I guess the Wi-Fi 7 takeaway when it comes time to Wi-Fi 7. Where should Wi-Fi 7 go? When should I deploy Wi-Fi 7? Right. Wi-Fi 7 is ideal in high density areas, schools, hotels, restaurants. When you should deploy it? I guess that's a great question. I look at things like future proofing, right? When it comes time to networking, it's one of the key terms we always like to use is future proofing because it's a legit, real thing we want to consider. Pay a little bit more now and be able to last things a little bit longer. With the updated Wi-Fi 7 technology, like we just talked about the preamble puncturing, multi-link operation, you can feel confident, you can feel good about what you're putting in as you're getting the best of the best. You're getting the highest performance Wi-Fi. And I did ask, our project line manager, I said, hey, things are going crazy as far as technology goes. I feel like we barely got onto Wi-Fi 6 before we already jumped off. How long do we see Wi-Fi 7 being around? The answer was we feel it for quite some time. Maybe not as long as AC was around, but we do see it not going to Wi-Fi 8, next year. I feel like Wi-Fi 6E was just a hop, skip, and immediately we're on. It was Wi-Fi 6 for a little bit, Wi-Fi 6E for just a breath of a moment, and then we're on Wi-Fi 7. But Wi-Fi 7 is going to be here for quite some time. So that's an even better reason if you want to start looking at future proofing. And then lastly, you'll have the assurance that you can add tons of connected devices, no matter how much data they require to run, without any slowdowns or any blind spots. When I guess, sorry, there's one more. And this is kind of what we talked about. 750 is compatible with other Wi-Fi access points. So just remember that. You don't have to take out and rip everything. It'll work with other NETGEAR Wi-Fi access points. So there's one thing that some people still don't know of, but if you don't, then this might get you pretty excited to see. If you ever have any questions, if you're struggling with a Wi-Fi deployment, you're about to deploy some sort of Wi-Fi, of course you can always reach out to Microcom and reach out to them, and they have great support there as well too. But we also offer support ourselves, kind of double edge there. You got best of both worlds. We have a Wi-Fi design team that's available for you guys should you need it. This is a free service for you guys, for anybody. And if you've got to deploy Wi-Fi and you're like, hey, don't know maybe what access points are, don't know what quantity, or this is what they have now. They have 10 access points. Do I need 10 because it's really old? They're better signal. There's a lot of guesswork and kind of like I'm not sure work when it comes time to putting in networks that take time to figure those questions out. Well, help us help you, and let's save you the time to taking out a lot of that guesswork. This is an email address that you can write down, prowifidesign@netgear.com. You can send them things, questions, and even provide them with blueprints. They'll put it in a software called Ekahau. And if you, with just a little bit of information like, hey, how tall the ceilings are and maybe what are the walls made out of, then they can program that and put that into the software and put in what access points that they would probably best fit that environment, and not only best fits that environment, but just gives you kind of the best coverage. And then, once it's done, it'll pinpoint where areas, and obviously the goal is to have as much green as possible. We want little to no red and gray areas, unless you're maybe in like a elevator or bunker or something like that. But anyway, we'll spit out what we think is best fits for this type of deployment. We'll get the BOM, the build of material. So not only will we provide what access points would best fit, we'll also provide what switch we'd recommend with it, what router that we're going to recommend with it, all the parts that you need, and say, here's what it is. And then all you have to do is take those parts, go to your rep at Microcom and say, here's what I need, and give me a price on it. And they will get you the best possible price, and then you'll be good to go. It'll take a lot of that guesswork. If you have any additional questions, you're more than welcome to answer and ask the questions away, and they'll be more than happy to answer. So, okay, guys, well, that's it in the nutshell. Julie, I'll go ahead and pass the torch back to you, see if there's some questions out there that I can try to answer to the best of my ability.
Thank you very much, Jordan. Appreciate that. And let's see about my questions that I've got here. Our audience has sent some in. Here we go. First question for you, Jordan. What are NETGEAR's strategic priorities for the future in the wireless networking sector?
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty great question. And I mean, first and foremost, priorities are I guess, making sure that all networks have a reliable, fast, and secure network to run off of. Making sure that we are keeping up with the latest and greatest, and making sure that we continue to meet every single one of those trends, that we're reliable, we're affordable, and we're easy to use. I guess as far as the priority, we're keep up with technology, making sure you guys are getting the best of the best, getting the best bang for your buck, and getting a product that's reliable, affordable, and easy to use is I would say is the priority of NETGEAR.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jordan. A few more questions here. Here we go. Next one. How does NETGEAR envision the evolution of wireless technology in the next, say, 5 to 10 years? Can you tell us something along those lines?
Oh gosh, I mean, I'm not in the R&D team. I'm not part of the PLM team. I know as much as the next guy as far as what we think is coming out and what's going to come to be. I don't even know if I have the expertise to put a say of what I think could be answering. For all I know, Wi-Fi could be completely changing the game. I read an article the other day that said wireless charging could be coming via Wi-Fi in the near future. But just kind of pinpointing to the previous question, NETGEAR is going to make sure that we're on top of the technology. Right? Wi-Fi 7 is pretty new. We've already got a product out there for it. While other companies may still be, everyone's just still barely releasing, or maybe have not yet released, we're on the forefront. And I can imagine that it's only going to get better. It's going to get faster. It's going to require more power. More devices are going to be connected in a way that we probably can't even imagine at this point.
Good answer, Jordan, because we all get surprised, all the time. So whatever's going to happen, I know many companies, especially NETGEAR, are going to be in there, and you're going to jump all over the newest technology. That's what we all, I think, want. It's amazing how it all happens.
Yeah.
Next question. You mentioned a little something about a chip shortage that we've experienced. Is that chip shortage over with? I believe I've heard that. Is that correct?
I would say yeah. I feel like NETGEAR's back at levels of inventory of definitely pre-COVID. I have not heard anything from NETGEAR about, hey, we've had to stop producing this switch, or this switch had to go end of life due to a chip shortage. I think thankfully we've got that all settled out, and that's kind of behind us now. I think every company learned, right, not to necessarily put all their eggs in one basket, so to speak, not to get the same chip from the same manufacturer across everywhere. You kind of need to have a more diverse manufacturer for chips making, and so that's what we've done. A lot of these products may have different chips in them from different places, which is overall definitely a good thing.
Right. Excellent. I even heard that there's some chip manufacturing companies are going to be opened up here in the U.S. So we'll see about that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, next question here, Jordan. Let's see. How does NETGEAR incorporate artificial intelligence or machine learning technologies into its wireless solutions?
Yeah. Right now I can say there really are no products right now that we have that's AI. AI is such a crazy thing. It's easy to kind of lose handle on it with what its capabilities, and really to make sure you understand its capabilities and its use form. And so I know from what I've heard from some PLMs that AI is in the works in introducing some form of AI to networking, but it's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be so heavily involved like we see with other things. You may have AI more involved in programming, or more AI involved in machines. But when it comes time to all those devices, that AI running, it's got to run off something, and it's got to run off the network. And so you need the network to be solid and working well in order for the AIs to run off of it. And so while there might be a little bit of introduction, I say this now, and who knows, in 5 years it's going to be completely different. But as of right now, there's no indication right now that we're going to be throwing a bunch of AI into our product and we're fully embracing AI, and you can guarantee next products are going to have a bunch of AI technology. My gut would tell me that that's not quite the case, at least from what I've gathered from the PLMs. And so but it is something that there might be a few little features that maybe have a little bit of AI to them, but nothing too crazy.
Thank you so much for that overview, Jordan. Next question here for you. Are there any cost-saving benefits or efficiencies associated with using NETGEAR wireless devices?
Well, I mean, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Kind of just what we talked about, how we want to make sure that all of NETGEAR's products are reliable, affordable, and easy to use, and all of those translate into savings, right? Going with NETGEAR, You've got the way that I love to pitch Netgear is we are a perfect Goldilocks zone that we obviously know that Netgear is not going to fit in every deployment, but we feel like we fit into a Goldilocks zone that most people need. And again, when it's easy to use, it's plug and play, it's simple, saves you a bunch of time. You don't have to go through the hassle of doing a bunch of programming or troubleshooting, and again, just and overall reliable. You can trust that this is going to work years and years to come. That in a year you're not going to have to rip and replace. I know a lot of my partners have engineers out there, and there are probably some engineers out here who probably can also attest that sometimes with other competitors out there, when you throw it in, if something goes wrong, instead of going online reading a bunch of articles or trying to figure it out yourself, you're just like, hey, I'm just going to rip it out and replace it, and because it's just not worth the time. And that might work, but over the course of 5-7 years of how long people want to have this network up and running, how many times are you going to have to rip and replace? And then when you look at total cost of ownership, and that's the last point that I would make, look at total cost of ownership when it comes time to your networking manufacturer choice, and see what the total cost of ownership is over the course of 5 to 7 years. Is there any licenses that are required to be renewed? How many times do you may have to rip and replace due to things just dying, and you don't want to have to go through the time or hassle to troubleshoot? And I think Netgear, confident that Netgear is the most affordable and best bang for your buck when you look at reliability, affordability, and ease of use. I think we all hit all of those.
Thank you so much for that, Jordan. I think I recall the very first router in my house a long time ago. It was a Netgear router.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I know you guys have been around for a long time. Okay, here we go. Next question. How does Netgear ensure compatibility between different product lines such as Essential and Pro Wi-Fi?
So repeat that question one more time.
Sure. How does Netgear ensure compatibility between different product lines such as Essential and Pro Wi-Fi?
Yeah, I mean, know that all of Netgear's Pro Wi-Fi's are going to be compatible with each other. All of the, we have all right now, it's all AX devices. And when the Wi-Fi 7, those are compatible. Wi-Fi, the Essentials are a little bit of a different lineup. Are made for just a single deployment. So if we're talking compatibility between just Netgear's devices alone, and it's knowing what product that you're getting, if you're getting an Essential and or Pro, and then also if you have any questions or concerns about it, reach out to the Pro Wi-Fi design team and ask, and they're more, if you have, maybe you have some Essentials and you're like, hey, will this be compatible, will this work? And we're more than happy to answer those questions, but I guess how do we ensure that they do? Pro Wi-Fi design team can ensure that they do and can answer any questions, and we've made sure that we've done our testing and due diligence that all the Wi-Fi 6 Pro access points will work with the Wi-Fi 7 Pro access points, and they all will work together.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And Jordan, just to give everyone a reminder, can you give us an overview on the warranties for your products?
Yeah. So most of our products, and I say most, will have the 5-year limited lifetime warranty, which means after it goes end of life, it's warranted for another 5 years. There are some products, because Netgear makes a diverse amount of products, all the way from unmanaged to fully managed. Some of the unmanaged, cheap dinky switches out there, yeah, they'll probably have a 3-year warranty. I think it's the lowest that Netgear goes, is a 3-year. But 3 years on just a little unmanaged switch, when they're unmanaged, I mean, they just run forever. I mean, everybody, I think most people understand that. But yeah, as long as you're buying business grade product and some sort of management switch, you're going to look at a minimum of 5 years.
Wow, that's fantastic. Thank you so much, Jordan, for answering all of those questions for us today. And thank you to everyone for attending today's webinar. And if there's any further questions, please feel free to contact your sales rep or email us at sales@microcomtech.com. And if you wish to review any of the products mentioned or shown here today, please remember that this webinar presentation has been recorded and will be uploaded to our Microcom YouTube channel so we can all view it again. Thank you, Jordan, so much for the educational presentation. And until next time, everybody have a fantastic day.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.